Hey, welcome back and welcome to our weekly edition of All Things Women in Sports. Last week, we talked about the National Women's Soccer League Championship. The New York, New Jersey Gotham FC defeated the Washington Spirit for the NWSL title 1-0. And today, we can tell you that game shattered viewership records. It was the first ever league match to average more than 1 million viewers. In fact, the broadcast peaked at 1.5 million. That is a 22% viewership increase over last year's championship matchup and a 45% increase over the 2023 final. It also matches the trend we saw all year long, with NWSL viewership up across the board. And sticking with soccer, the U.S. women's national team just finished its final pair of friendlies for the year. The number 2 seeded Americans walked away victorious, defeating number 12 Italy on Friday and then again last night. That makes the U.S. women's national team's 4th consecutive win to end the year. Overall, the team finishes 2025 with 12 wins, no ties, and 3 losses. Plus, 2 U.S. players made their international team debuts, or caps, on Friday. That would be Chicago Star forward Jamise Joseph, right there on your screen, and Washington Spirit defender Katie Weisner. That brings the total number of caps under head coach Emma Hayes to 27, with 16 of those debuts happening this year alone. That is the most in a single year since the inaugural season in 1985. All right, turning to basketball, the WNBA and its players' union agreed to another extension on the collective bargaining agreement. Now the two sides will have until January 9th to negotiate a new agreement. So Front Office Sports is reporting the league has proposed an earlier start to the season, a longer season, and the removal of team housing. The Front Office Sports report also says this proposal would increase the average salary to more than $500,000 and the salary cap to $5 million. Now, on the other side, the Players Association is reportedly advocating for a salary cap that increases alongside the league's income rather than an arbitrarily fixed growth rate. But in the meantime, we have to talk about your Big 12 Player of the Week, Audie Crooks. The Iowa State center broke her own program record when she dropped 47 points this weekend. The Cyclones defeated Indiana on Sunday 106-95, and Crooks went 19 for 25 from the field. The junior leads the nation in 2 spots right now. She's got 27.3 points per game, which is the most in the country, and a 74% field goal percentage. And you know what? The temps are freezing outside, so that means it's hockey season. The PWHL is in its 3rd season. You have 2 brand new teams this year in Seattle and Vancouver, and that brings the total number of teams this season up to 8. This year, the PWHL will also continue its takeover tour, where several games are played in neutral locations that don't have their own teams. So here are the standings so far. Everyone has played at least 2 games, and as of today, only Boston remains undefeated. At the bottom there is the Seattle Torrent, who are still looking for their first win after a heartbreaking overtime loss in their first game. But hey, there's still plenty of season left, and it isn't all bad news for Seattle. Check this out. Their home opener and kickoff to this inaugural season for the brand new team took place this past Friday night. It was held at the same arena as the NHL Seattle Kraken, and more than 16,000 fans turned out. That shatters the previous record of 14,000 fans set last season at a neutral site in Detroit. And then just a week prior, the other brand new team, the Vancouver Golden Knights, made their debut by selling out the Pacific Coliseum with 15,000 fans. Both of these brand new teams, by the way, leading the league in season ticket sales. All right, closer to home, one local lady is nominated for this week's Midwest Technical Institute Score Standout. Anna Timmons from Assumption scored 20 points late last week. So if you have your phone handy, go ahead and scan this QR code and it'll take you right to the page where you can vote for any of this week's Score Standout nominees. You can also always find the voting page at WQAD.com underneath the Sports tab. You have until tomorrow at noon to cast your vote. Each week's winner is featured on Off the Cuff. And finally tonight, one more local lady. Michelle Juring is the director of the Quad City Times Big 7 race, and she just got a huge honor. She is your 2025 Marathon Photo and Road Race Management Race Director of the Year. This is just the 2nd time in history the BIX has gotten this national honor. The first time being back in 1993, and Michelle is now just the 8th woman in the award's 38-year history to be recognized. Congratulations, Michelle. And that'll do it for this week's edition of Women in Sports.